In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the beneficent. May the prayers and peace and blessings be upon Muhammad, the last of all prophets. Dear sisters and brothers, in this episode, inshallah, we're going to talk about marriage life. As you know, dear sisters and brothers, marriage is a great gift given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Indeed, it's a great bounty granted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to save our lives, to protect our health, to live and survive in peace. And yet, this life should be governed according to Islamic instructions and rules. Well, let's have a look at the main obstacles and hindrances that most of the time result in the collapse of this life, marriage life. Well, let's see the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. So we know, dear listeners, that it is a shared responsibility. Both of men and women should bear this responsibility. Man, of course, should bear the responsibility of provision, of work, in order to feed his children and his wife. And also the woman should care about her children in terms of education, in terms of housework, as well as her husband. Of course, there are certain rights and duties which are already mentioned in our authentic references, Quran and Sunnah. Of course, there is no doubt about that. And also, that is the ability of managing this life. من استطاع منكم الباء. Of course, whomsoever is able has the ability to cover the expenses and things for the family, then he can get married. However, there is something very important that we need to shed a light on. This point is embodied in the verse that says, إِن يَكُونُوا فُقَرَاء يُغْنِهِمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala supports the marriage because it is something that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And therefore, when the couples agree, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala extends their provision. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala benedicts their marriage life. Why? Because they are going to do something that, as I said, pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They want to protect themselves from what is, that is to save themselves from what is haram. Another thing we'd like to talk about is the generation gap in relation to this issue. Well, most of the time when a man gets married with a woman who is much younger than him, then we expect to have that kind of differences in terms of ideas, in terms of thoughts, in terms of behaviors. And therefore, we expect to have that sort of conflicts because of this matter. And yet, as I said, as long as we are closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are righteous, we have the spirit of abiding by the rules, of obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we have no worry about that, no matter how differences, or how different we are, we can cope for it, we can succeed. Of course, we need to go back to the biography of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and see how he dealt with his wives, how he used to treat his wives with great respect and tolerance. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, used to help his wives for the housework, unlike some people today who still consider this kind of that is when they do the housework as if they are lowering their status, something like that. Dear sisters and brothers, our religion, Islam, has given us all the necessary rules and instructions. Of course, as long as we are righteous and good Muslims, it's not just by the name. We pretend we are Muslims and we don't obey the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're asking Allah ta'ala to grant us guidance and to be righteous and to abide by his rules. Until now, peace be with you. Stop. Button.